right, welcome back. We're back here with Ghost Behaviorist. As you know him too, the Ghost Doctor, Chris Spores, talking about the relation to Easter and your studies. And so let's continue. You know, we were just talking about the books of the Apocryphal. Kind of walk us through what it is you're talking about here.
Yeah, so I've always loved studying books outside of the Bible, stuff that didn't make the canon.
Right.
Because these things, people, they're uncovering them. They've been untouched by man for hundreds of years. So this is like the truest form of Jesus' teachings that we can get.
Yeah.
And some of my favorites, there's an infancy gospel of James that talks about Jesus his upbringing as a child. And it's so funny because you get to see a different side of Jesus where he's, you know, just trying to learn. Yeah, he's very human. Yes. And he's, Joseph takes him to school. And it's funny because he is smarter than the schoolmaster. Right. So the schoolmaster says, I'm going to teach you all about alpha. And Jesus goes, okay, that's great. Well, I'll tell you about alpha, and then I'll tell you all about beta.
Right.
And then the teacher, it's like he's pulling out his hair, and he's like, oh, this is so frustrating. And he goes to Joseph, he's like, I can't teach this guy. So Joseph has to go to Jesus and be like, look, life is all about humbling yourself. And so you see, like, the little footprints, what leads him to his ministry.
Right.
And another gospel that I like is the gospel of Peter. Okay. And this is very interesting because it ties into the crucifixion narrative. And I love this text because it's very Buddhist in nature, because Jesus is up on the cross. Peter's on the hill. You know, Peter is Jesus' right-hand man, basically, right. And he's watching his master being crucified. So Jesus comes to him in a spirit form and says, look, you know, your eyes are deceiving you. I'm right here. You know, just believe in me. And Peter, he just doesn't get it. He's like, he's weeping. He's like, oh, but my master, he's being crucified. Right. So then a second spirit form comes to him. A second Jesus comes to him and is like, you're not getting it.
Right.
You know, I'm right here. You know, this is all a facade. And Peter, again, he's like, I just can't. I can't get past this. So then a third Jesus comes to him. So there's three Jesuses talking to Peter saying, look, get up through your thick skull. You know,
right? Yeah.
Stop, your eyes are deceiving you. You know, you have to go on faith alone.
Right.
And this is what's going to get you through life. Exactly. And finally he gets it. He's like, oh, this is amazing. So I just love, the texts are just filled with these kind of narratives.
Absolutely. They also make them so much more human,
yes.
right, and relatable. And we are also talking a little bit in the break through your studies that we kind of have always assumed that Jesus was between 31 and 33, but he was actually likely closer to 40. How did you come to that determination?
Yeah, so there's a couple of misnomers that have been kind of taken on faith, I guess, over the years.
Through the years.
The first one is that Jesus was poor.
Right.
Not that's not.
He gave up his possessions, but we do know that.
No,
he wasn't poor.
Even in the nativity story, you know, Jesus descended from the lineage of David, the king of David. You know, this was a very wealthy family. Money was going through his family, and even when the three kings came to him, they brought him gold.
Right.
Okay, frankincense, myrrh, those are very hot commodities back then. So their family was set. Even in the Gospel of Mark, it talks about Jesus' family had to pay a stranger tax. And any scholar will tell you that only the stranger tax was only reserved for the rich. And so another misnomer was that it's taken on faith that Jesus died when he was 33. Right. The only reason people believe this is because when the Roman calendar was set, it was set in 533 AD by a guy named Dionysus. And what he did, the Caesar wanted to redo the calendar. So we know through records, historical records, we know that Jesus died in the year 33 AD.
Which is why we
they assumed that he dies at the age of 33. Now what's interesting is if you roll back the clock, with Herod, okay, when he killed all the firstborns, right. They figure that this happened around 5-4 BC.
Okay.
But we have a better clue because with the Star of Bethlehem, they've figured out that the star was actually represented by the conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn, right. Because this brought in the age of Pisces. This is why Jesus is represented by two fish, age of Pisces. So you roll back that clock and figure out when the conjunction happened. It happened in 7 BC. So you take 7, you add 33, and it comes 40. And 40 is a very biblical number. It's a flood. So.
Right.
Yeah, he could have lived that long.
I know, they're playing on a softball. Thank you so much, Chris. That's really remarkable information. And we'll see him again next month. Stay right here. Weather's up next.